Greetings, fellow Gorehounds. Before we begin this review, I want to first remind all of you that SAG-AFTRA and the WGA, the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, are still currently on strike. So I'm going to include in the description of this video a link to both of their websites so that you can further educate yourself on why exactly these two guilds are striking, as well as a link to the Entertainment Fund if you want to help them more directly. And as you probably already know, movies cannot get made without writers and actors, as much as the rich fucks in charge want to convince all of you that they can be replaced with AI. They can't, and they shouldn't be replaced with AI. So fuck the corporates, support the unions, and let's get on with this review. Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about They Cloned Tyrone, an Afro-Surrealist science fiction comedy film from director Juel Taylor, who's mainly known for having co-written Creed 2. This is his directorial debut as far as I'm aware. And it stars John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, and Teyonah Parris, who many of you know as Monica Rambeau in the Marvel movies, as a pimp, a drug dealer, and a prostitute who stumble across a conspiracy involving clones and social conditioning and marketing.
Yep.
Very similar to something like, say, They Live, but with some elements of like The Truman Show and the flair of a blaxploitation film.
Yeah. Even though it's set in like 2023, it's filmed like a 70s flick. Mm-hmm. It also has a lot in common thematically with Sorry to Bother You.
Oh yeah, Sorry to Bother You was a big movie I kept thinking of because that's kind of like the ultimate Afro-Surrealist commentary film.
Yeah, that was like the first big one.
Absolutely.
You know?
And this film is very much carrying in that tradition, but in a pure science fiction realm.
There's a little bit of horror, but that's kind of in the way that a lot of science fiction movies just have a little bit of horror.
Yeah, it's not a horror movie, but it's also a very horror adjacent movie, the same way something like They Live is.
Yeah, what people would call cult cinema.
Exactly. I would still put it in the ballpark of things that horror movie fans would enjoy, even though it's not strictly a horror film.
Yeah, it also makes a great double feature with something like Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Although it's not as gory as Hobo with a Shotgun, but it's that same sort of very stylized film.
That's one of the things I really love about this movie is how stylized it is.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure they still shot it digitally, but they put a bunch of film grain on it.
Yeah.
To make it feel like it's a 70s film. The film grain definitely makes it feel like a movie that you picked up at the video store that has slowly degraded over time.
Oh yeah.
From rewatches.
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
I really dig that.
One of the things I thought was really cool is that John Boyega and everything he does when it's just him and not the other two characters, it's filmed like a very, very serious fucking social commentary movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the minute Jamie Foxx and Teyonah?
Yeah, Teyonah.
Teyonah Parris show up, it turns into like, I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah. It becomes a comedy real quickly at that point. Well, it becomes a science fiction comedy in the vein of like an 80s movie where everyone's bantering at each other.
Yes.
But the banter is so fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. And the thing is, Jamie Foxx do not shut the fuck up.
Oh God. And
it's amazing.
And there's so many quotable lines in this movie too. Like when they find this weird powdery substance and Jamie Foxx's character, whose name is Slick Charles and he's the pimp character.
Yeah.
Is like, well, it's not a slope, but I can ski on it.
Yeah.
It's just a really great line.
It's really interesting seeing Jamie Foxx do this type of role again, because I haven't seen him do this kind of shit since like the days before he became like a really serious actor. This feels like a callback to like In Living Color days.
It does. Like,
you know?
Like John Boyega, his character, Fontaine, feels like the character that Jamie Foxx would play normally now.
Yes.
He's the straight man.
Yeah, and he's super dramatic.
He's great. He's also indistinguishable from any other role I've seen him in.
The closest I can come to a role that he's done like this is Moses from Attack the Block.
It's the closest.
But like Moses is a kid, this guy is an adult. adult.
Yeah, imagine if Moses grew up and moved to America, gained an American accent.
Yeah, that's kind of the character.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And he's seen so much more shit. He's so much more stoic now.
Oh yeah. Oh, he does such a fucking great job in this movie. Like,
but only so stoic. There's like scenes of him like literally breaking down, crying, and
which is also an amazing scene.
Yeah, you're fucking crying with him when you're watching it because the dude's having like such an existential crisis, and you're sitting there going like, I mean, I'd probably be right there with you, man.
Yeah. Like that moment where he discovers everything he knows is a lie.
Yeah,
and he just like loses his mind.
Yep, absolutely. This movie also stars Keifer Sutherland of many movie fame, but you might know him in relation to this movie. I kept thinking of Dark City. Like I kept thinking like him being in this movie was a direct reference to Dark City.
Yeah.
Which is another movie about like an underlying conspiracy about a world around you and the hidden truths.
Yeah, and everyone's like adjusting the world around you for some nefarious reason.
Exactly. But obviously, you know, Keifer Sutherland's been in everything from 24 to Flatliners to
Young Guns.
Yeah. He's been in so many goddamn things. But I think that him in this movie was directly referencing Dark City.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
100%.
I feel like maybe the role was written for Kevin Bacon because they kept referencing Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon would have been a good choice too.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, Keifer Sutherland, he's great.
There's this great reoccurring joke where I swear, like two of these characters are two of the only fans of Paul Verhoeven's Hollow Man I've ever seen.
Yes.
And there's like this reoccurring joke of them referencing Hollow Man throughout the movie. And it's funny every time.
This movie is a fucking blast.
It is. It is without a doubt one of my favorite movies of the whole year. It has everything. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's got awesome science fiction. It's got social commentary coming out its ass.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just every fucking pore of it is fucking oozing social commentary. It's got some of the best performances I've seen this year from John Boyega in particular.
Yeah. Actually, the person who is like, oh my God, I didn't know this was in her was Teyonah. Yeah. She plays a character unlike any character I've ever seen her play before, like 180 degrees.
Well, to the point where I had to look up who was actually playing that role.
I didn't recognize her at all.
Because I didn't recognize her at first.
Yeah, she just disappears into this like parody of a blaxploitation and it's fantastic.
And in many ways, she's kind of like the heart and soul of the group.
You got like the two other guys who are wits and anger, and she's heart.
Yep, pretty much. It very much felt like someone's D&D campaign.
Oh yeah, like if you had said a D&D campaign like modern times.
Exactly.
And use modern archetypes for the character classes,
Or like a slightly more modern, less futuristic cyberpunk story.
Yes. Yeah, if it was a cyberpunk story, it'd basically be a story of three fixers.
Yeah, basically. You know? Yeah. For sure. And so if you're into that kind of vibe, that kind of like a party on an adventure vibe, you're gonna dig this too. These characters, you love to watch them figure shit out and bicker.
Yeah, and the thing I love is when you got a group of characters who they're not the greatest at what they do.
But they do have particular sets of skills that make them useful to the group.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not like the best. It's not like, oh, it's Aragorn or it's Gimli or Legolas or something. It's like, nah, this is Slick Charlie and fucking Fontaine the gangbanger.
And Yo-Yo the prostitute. Because she keeps coming back.
Yeah. Which I thought was a fucking great touch. This movie has a lot of dumb symbolism in it, and it's great.
Yo-Yo's obsession with the
Nancy
Drew books.
Yeah.
Her girl, Nancy Drew.
Oh God, I even love when Jamie Foxx is looking at her collection of Nancy Drew books. He's like, how many fucking adventures this bitch been on?
This is one of those movies where we could literally just recite line after line because each line is gold.
Oh my God, so good.
I will tell you one thing though. You're going to be sitting through this entire movie wondering what the fuck the title of the movie has to do with the rest of the movie. Because if you haven't noticed...
cloning.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, Fontaine, Slick Charles, Yo-Yo, who the fuck is Tyrone?
Yeah, there's no Tyrone.
You're going to get an answer to that question by the end of the movie. Just wait. Just wait it out.
Yeah, you gotta watch the whole movie.
Yep.
In order to get your fucking answer.
I also recommend, if you haven't watched anything related to this movie yet, and this is the first time you're hearing about it, don't even bother to watch a trailer.
Oh, I agree.
Just go see the movie.
I agree.
Because
just watch it.
One of the trailers doesn't tell you a lot. The other trailer tells you way too much.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think there's a lot of cool twists and turns that you're going to want to discover when you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
We'll talk talk about them in the spoiler section if you want them spoiled. But if you want to go in nice and clean, avoid the trailers, just go watch it. It's currently available on Netflix. Also, by the way, Netflix, you're making awesome movies like this with awesome creatives. Why don't you fucking pay them? Come on, man.
Come on, pay the man.
Pay your actors, pay your writers, especially your actors in this case. Your actors,
Jesus,
they fucking carry
notch.
this movie. Even Keifer Sutherland does a great job as Nixon, who is an antagonistic figure in this movie. He's not actually Richard Nixon, but the name is obviously symbolic.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's called Nixon.
Yeah. Like, because Reagan would have been too obvious.
Would have been too obvious, yeah.
Too on the nose.
I think it's one of the best movies of the year, and you should all go watch it. I know you all want to go out there and see Barbenheimer, and hell yeah to those two movies, but this movie should not be overlooked. They Clone Tyrone is a true masterpiece.
Look, you probably already got Netflix. Just watch it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Like, it's easier than going out to see Barbenheimer.
Yeah. Get to this point in the review, watch it, and then come back for the spoiler.
That's true. You could totally do that, and we would approve of that, because that would mean you watch this video twice.
Yes.
And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers.
Fast answer, Whitey's doing it.
Yeah, Whitey. Slower answer, the U.S. government.
Yeah.
The U.S. government has been conducting experiments in the hood, trying to find a way to create peace in America.
Yeah.
By subduing the black man, so to speak.
Yes.
But in order to conduct these experiments, they need to keep Whitey out of the black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So they have this system where they clone all of the criminal element, such as Fontaine the drug dealer or Slick Charles the pimp, so that if they die in a drug-related accident, they can bring them back to life and keep their operation going and keep Whitey out of the neighborhood so they can keep experimenting on the black people.
Yes.
And the way they keep experimenting on the black people is through various marketing schemes. Hair products that straighten their hair but also makes them more docile.
Yeah.
They try to release songs that seem like they're in-community songs but are actually songs created by the government that once again has subliminal messaging that makes you more docile.
Yeah.
And under control. And to the point where by the end of the movie, the songs that they're playing are literally saying like, you are enslaved, you will do what I say. But done as if it's an R&B song.
Yeah. The church.
The church.
Don't
the other
forget
part.
the hustler preacher.
One of the other figures being cloned and repeatedly replaced is the preacher.
Yeah.
Who is there to sell them this version of God that keeps them docile and under the government's control.
Yeah, and of course he says everything in front of a giant picture of white Jesus.
Now, if you can believe it, this isn't actually the ultimate conspiracy about what's going on, because there's one final reveal at the end of the movie that upends everything.
Yeah.
Because it turns out this isn't just about making black people docile and experimenting on them. It's also about making everyone homogenous, which means turning everyone who's not white to white.
Yeah, which is also why they need to use the hair product.
Yep.
Because apparently black hair is so dominant.
Yep.
It won't breed out.
Yep. And we find this out because throughout the movie, they've been running into these figures who are like just straight up white people, but with black hair.
Yeah, but they have like afros.
They have afros, even their mustaches like look black.
Yep.
And it turns out that these are the people who are the failed experiments.
Yeah, these are the failed clones.
And the huge fuck of it is when they essentially reach the final boss of this journey.
Oh my God, yeah.
That moment in Snowpiercer when they reach the front of the train, basically.
Yeah.
It turns out that the guy who's been conducting all these experiments is himself a black man. The ultimate Uncle Tom.
Yeah, and not only is he the ultimate Uncle Tom, he is the guy for whom Fontaine's genetic material comes from.
Yup, absolutely.
Fontaine is a clone of this dude.
Yup, absolutely, absolutely. So all his memories are variations on this guy's memories.
Yep.
So he essentially has to confront his shadow self.
Yeah. He has to confront the part of him which fucking begs for assimilation.
Absolutely. And the horrifying revelation that at the end of the day, while yes, the government and the shadowy figures in control are the ones orchestrating all of this, at the end of the day, the person perpetrating the most damage to this specific community is someone from it.
Yeah.
Who has sold out.
Yes. That's a statement.
It's a damning statement, but it's a strong one. And it makes its point very clear, and it's not subtle in the slightest.
Oh, no.
It's about as subtle as They Live, which is not very subtle.
Not very subtle at all. The whole reason the original Fontaine fucking is doing all of this is because his brother was killed by a cop. And by brother, I mean, like, he was like 7.
Yeah, he was a little kid.
And so he wanted to stop racial violence, but the only answer that he could come up with and pursue
Was ending race itself.
Yeah. You know, so you wouldn't see race.
Exactly.
You know? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he's also a damning statement on someone who's tried to enter the system to fix it from within.
Yeah, exactly.
Because his way of fixing it actually ultimately becomes even worse than what they were doing.
Well, yeah, because, like, the system wants what it wants.
Yeah.
It moves towards what it moves towards.
Yep.
And if it's a white supremacist system, guess what it works towards?
Now, within all this, you get all these really cool fucking action sequences by the end of the movie because they essentially rally the neighborhood to storm these underground fucking facilities and free all the people that are being experimented on within, as well as free the clones.
Yeah.
Because, hey, they may be clones, but they're still people.
People. Yeah, they're still people.
Let my people go. Literally me.
Yeah.
Let me go. Let all the me's go.
Actually, I thought the way they handled the fucking neighborhood coming in was kind of fucking brilliant.
Oh, it's so amazingly done. Because you establish at the beginning of the movie the neighborhood tensions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have the one drug dealer who doesn't like Fontaine, and you have Fontaine who doesn't like the drug dealer and doesn't like Slick Rick. Or Slick Charles, not
Slick
Rick.
Charles,
not Rick. I keep wanting to call him Rick because of Rick James.
Rick James, yeah.
But his name is Charles. But by the end of the movie, these three forces have come together.
Yeah, same sort of like gathering moment that like Machete has.
Oh god,
where everyone's going down the road like, fuck you!
And the build up to that scene where you get like this grift they're playing on the government to like trick them into doing this. Oh
man, that was slick.
And you see the original version, and then you see what they did behind the scenes and what was actually going on. Like it's
no place easier to hide than by showing the man what he wants to see.
Exactly. Like it becomes a heist movie briefly.
Yes.
But without like trying to heist, they're trying to get into the thing to essentially release all the prisoners.
Yeah. It's like the part of the heist is basically communicating with everyone without Whitey finding out.
So if you like heist movies, there's a portion of this movie that kind of operates like one, and it's really cool. Though I think one of my favorite, might actually be my favorite scene in the entire movie. It's actually a couple scenes stitched together. It's when they've kind of discovered everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And Fontaine has given up.
Oh, yeah.
And he tries to go back to his normal life. And he just can't take it because he knows too much.
He knows too much.
He also knows, like, he's also dealing with the existential crisis of who the fuck is he in the first place?
Yeah.
Does he even count as a person?
Finding out that his mother isn't real.
That scene right there, when he goes to try to go to his mom to have some sort of comfort, and then finding out she's just a record tape on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
That just repeats the same lines over and over again.
Yeah, because he's only expected to live for like a couple weeks.
And the whole meltdown he has there, breaking down, crying, it's one of the performances of John Boyega's career, in my opinion.
Yeah, so good.
Ultimately culminating in him going outside and this little kid that he kind of befriended earlier in the movie and has been kind of like his snitch.
Yeah. Little kid's a snitch. Yeah.
Comes over and just starts talking to him again about SpongeBob. And breaking through his existential crisis and reminding him what's important, these people around him.
Yeah.
I think that entire sequence is probably my favorite sequence in the whole movie.
Yeah.
The existential crisis, the meltdown, and then finally the revelation at the end.
Yeah, because it has the thing that I love so much about this movie, which is being able to make a profound statement through profoundly ridiculous means.
Yeah, through fucking SpongeBob SquarePants.
It's like in a fucking Bullet Train. We got a diesel.
Yes, everything with the fucking Thomas the Tank Engine and Bullet Train. It's very similar to that.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, I love that stuff.
It's so good. They Clone Tyrone is phenomenal. And I think if you haven't checked it out yet, you absolutely should.
Yes.
Especially if you like any of the other movies we've referenced so far, you're probably going to dig this movie. It's got elements of all of them.
You check this out.
Hell yeah.
You check this out. It is a great movie. One of the best I've seen this year.
I absolutely agree. And I'm ashamed to say, I kind of wanted some of that goddamn chicken. And so, with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, well, holy shit. You can find me on TikTok at Real Count Jackula, where I tick those talks and I talk about all kinds of stuff. You should follow me there. I am on Twitter or X. The X is Counting Jack. Yes. You could find me on YouTube if you just type in Count Jackula. And I stream on that channel throughout the week, usually starting around 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but still a little shaky. So just check in around 6, 7, see if I'm on, and if I am, please, please, please come on down and join the slut pit.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram and Facebook, and now Blue Sky, as well as TikTok. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, though we'll be happy to take more than just $1. And if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag Straighter is Greater.
Aww.
Use the hashtag Straighter is Greater. That way you know. That way I know. That way Jack knows. You watch this video all the way through. Peace out. I'll catch y'all later.